And these plants you see in here are Swiss chard. They've come out of my window grow light situation, and I have put them in here so that they can get acclimated to, I don't know, a temperature shift, a light shift. In this container, I can take it out to the cold frame or the greenhouse during the day and then bring it back inside at night while it's just kind of getting caught up. Hey, go ahead and show them.
Hi guys, so we are making a garden with Mom. So we are going to be sprinkling this stuff. Mom, should we do it right now?
Tell them what it's called.
Emerald?
Perlite. This is really what I dreamed of when we first moved here. It used to be this rocky, horrible, dry, hot rock in our backyard, and look at it now. It's gonna be a hot day, but they could go out there in any space and be cool and have food to eat. Hey guys, so this morning I am in something of a panic mode to get my herbs out of their little boxes and into a bigger box. And this is rabbit manure with cut up egg cartons and paper used as the carbon and the bedding for the rabbits. Now back home I would use this and just put a very light amount of potting soil on top and plant into that, and then it decomposes and it's wonderful soil. The cardboard acts as a weed barrier, and it gives whatever is on the inside a really, really good, strong start ahead of any weeds. And especially if you're putting in perennials, I love this method, putting in comfrey or any of my herbs that I just want to be able to take off, because they will have nutrition from the rabbit manure. They'll have open soil, which will help their roots. And by the time the roots do get down to the rabbit manure, it's decomposed enough and that nitrogen has been used up enough that it doesn't burn the roots. So I love rabbit manure. I know it's not a pretty method, but this is how I do it. Now, I got this seed tray set that you see from Fit Farmer, Fit Farmer. And we saw him when we were over at Baker's Creek. And he gave us this, and I've been using it just under the window and under the fan to dehydrate treats for the rabbits. I have squash seeds, I have carrot peels, I have turnip peels, I have celery. The nuts are drying here for a reason not related to the rabbits. I'm not going to feed those to the rabbits because I think those are acorns. So I've been using it this whole time, but not for the purpose it was meant to be used for. And even though we're in a very humid area, we're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, we have a ceiling fan that's going most of the time, and this is right under it, so it dehydrates it very well. I need to make sure they have drainage, so a lot of this is just me talking myself through this. I need them to have drainage. But these are herbs that are going to be growing for a really long time, and they're things that we would rinse and cook with, not necessarily eat raw. It's one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of salads, is because a lot of the problems with salads is that you're eating it raw. And so anything nasty in it doesn't get killed. And I'm going to leave the short ones in here. The reason I'm putting the tall ones in this is because they just need a little bit more space. But I have quite a few here that are not requiring more space yet. Now, if this was solid rabbit manure, I could not do this. I do have to have a lot of carbon in there. It would absolutely burn the roots if I didn't.
into one of the sticky traps. So Paige pulled it out, and then we found out that there was somehow a lot of poop and manure behind the cage somehow. So we swept out all that.
Okay, so I want to show you the power of bad water. I had put water in to rehydrate the soil because it was so dry, and they all started to die. Now, what I did to fix that was I actually started to use my filtered water, my Berkey water, and now there at the base you can see that the leaves are starting to come back. And I'm going to show you some pictures of my kids' skin right now from the city water. I don't know if that one's going to come back. That one I think is almost gone. But these other ones, like, they looked so bad. And even this little one, this little basil is starting to come back from the roots. But you can see the main part is dead. Isn't that sad that the water that so many people are bathing and drinking in is like so poisonous? I had found with these ones, I think the reason that they have tolerated it better is that with those holes in the bottom of the trays, there's drainage, so they're not sitting in the water. And I have been keeping them mostly dry, but you can see they're still a little bit unhappy. You can see that that leaf is curling just a little bit. But from now on, I'm going to use only my Berkey water on my herbs, because this was a massacre, and I just wanted to cry, but they're coming back. They want to live, and that's the nice thing about gardening, is most things really, really want to live. So they'll do their best for you. So last night I didn't have any cover on anything. Okay, and it was down in the 20s. It was very cold, and you can see everything is happy and warm. Now, I have noticed that those plants that I planted in dirt, in soil right on top of the bales, have done better with less shock than the ones I planted in my windows. And that's just transplant shock. They started out somewhere really nice and warm, and then I put them out somewhere that wasn't warm, and where the light was different. So there's some transplant shock here. However, in the kitchen where I had them, I was having a lot of problem with damping off. And I did have them in the good little planting spots. It wasn't that they were in a box like this. I find that these drain better than those little planting pots, those little plastic ones. So I had to transplant them and do something with them, and they were not doing well in the kitchen. It was too warm for them by the wood stove. It was too intense. So they're actually doing better out here, even though they don't look fantastic. The sorrel, oh, I forgot, I have another basil out here. Holy cow, that basil made it, even though I didn't cover anything out here. It's not happy. The edges of its leaves are starting to curl and get black a little bit from the frost, but it's still alive. Interesting. We'll see if it makes it. What I might do is bring out an old like milk jug to put over it, to give it just a little bit of extra help, because the steam rises up through the straw, but the steam doesn't rise up through the bottoms of the boxes, if that makes sense. It can't get up through the bottoms of the boxes. So as I continue to charge this, I will always use rabbit manure tea. It just, even though I have the manure here on top that kind of filters down a little bit, it does need to have the actual fertilized water going into it in order to keep things warming up. You can see how much mold we've got coming in here. Can you see that? How good things are getting started? Fungus and mold, and things are just breaking down really good over here. And on this side, there's none of that. Nothing's breaking down. There's no warmth. It's not warm to the touch. Over here, it's warm to the touch. It's starting to break down and turn into soil. The problem here is that this side is going to start sinking before that side does. So we might get a little bit unbalanced eventually until a little bit more water starts to percolate down through here. And then it'll start to break down too. But you can see the difference. See all that white? See all this here? Things are breaking down quickly, and they're keeping everything warm. I'm super, super happy that we don't have clouds of ammonia in here. I don't like it when there's the clouds of ammonia. It hurts the plants and it hurts the animals that are in here at the same time. So I'm pretty stinking excited about that. Again, here are the peas coming up. It's still February. It is February. I covered up some of the others. When I came through here and watered, it washed some of the soil off the peas. And so I put some more soil down. So that's why you're not seeing as many as you would have if I hadn't covered them back up a little bit. See these? It was an accident. So, and then through here we have cabbages and bok choy and Swiss chard. I do want to come out here and put some kohlrabi, etc. And the problem is I want things to stay a little bit warmer in here. And so I do want to leave this space open to keep charging things for a bit. Just for a bit. Just till it warms up just a little bit more. Because this is a borage. They're frost sensitive. And then this one is elecampane, more sorrel, and that over there is gobu burdock, and then onion. So these guys aren't totally frost sensitive, or yeah, they're not totally frost insensitive. Not as sensitive as say a basil would be, but I'm super, can you tell in my voice how excited I am about this? So once I have these beds full, and it's later in the year, and I have them really well started and they're staying warm, then I'm going to come over here and start charging this one. But for now, I'm just going to let it sit. I'm going to let it sit because I want it to be my backup heater for the greenhouse. And if I start it up right now, it can't be a backup heater. It will be a heater at the same time, and then I won't have more space to bring another one in.